some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bull. They are not owed that.
Jesus. So he's not just a crazy Republican candidate. He's a sitting senator saying that all the Democrats are literally pro-crime, which would be bad enough, incendiary enough, but they want reparations because they want the people that do the crime to have your stuff. Like it's a dog whistle loud enough that dogs living in other solar systems' ears began to bleed. And he felt very, like, this is not a hot mic. Can we be clear about that? This is not Maggie Haberman has a book and 2 years later she says, I overheard an aide say that he said. No, this was him at a Trump rally in front of a crowd of people talking about how reparations are gonna go to the people who commit the crimes. Dan, what are your thoughts?
I think that's such a really great point to bring out here is that there was let's get rid of the lie that American politics was never like this. No, American politics was worse than this, except that, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, as you got more and more recording technology, this stuff started to be said, in behind closed doors and became less acceptable to say these things while you got some, marginal improvements for marginalized communities here and there in terms of social policy. And then for every one step forward you got there, you got 3 steps back with the crime bill and things like that. But now, you do have politicians who feel empowered, emboldened to not only feel comfortable to say these kind of statements, saying these statements is politicking, saying these statements is red meat. This is how you get your base energized. And yeah, by jumping straight to the point there, they're saying that, oh yeah, reparations will be giving money straight to the criminals. Never mind that reparations is not really an argument any Democrat's seriously talking about right now. Never mind that that's not really an argument that any Republicans seriously going to interact with right now. They're just jumping to reparations. That's the thing Black people want, right? So let's not give the criminals, notice how I just switched criminals and Black people there, any of the money. And that's exactly what they think. It's what they're reaching out to. And like you're saying, John, this is what Tommy Tuberville thinks as a politician will help him, will get him more support, will get him more people like fired up. And that's scary about American politics right now.
Yeah, and he might well be right. His entire argument there is the Democrats want to give your stuff to Black people. That's all it is. That's maybe the particular person saying it could be a little bit savvy in one case, less savvy in another if it's Marjorie Greene. But that's what they're campaigning on. Meanwhile, the poor conservatives that he's giving this speech to that apparently need help, they're so worried about their stuff being stolen and given away. They're so on the edge. He's also calling for an end of food stamps. So like, you should be worried about Democrats giving your stuff to Black people. Also, we're gonna take away any government support whatsoever. It's a weird little 1-2 punch they give you there.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.